Oh,
So we'll open the equalization meeting. One of the gals, take it away, Donna.
Okay, Dan, did you give them these papers? Okay, so these are the changes that I mentioned at the last meeting that I wanted to get completed. Go ahead and look through them, and if there are any questions, let me know. That's been a synopsis of what this whole rest of the meeting is.
No. I got it.
For the most part, these were exempt properties that, you know, a lot of the current residents exempt. With the exception of Joe Almir's, as they have a seed business that they built a new building for.
And that's commercial, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you got that.
Oh, where else?
Right in the bottom of the first
Yeah.
page. You're looking for a motion to approve this, right?
Yeah.
Make a motion we approve the presented.
Okay, that's for all of them.
Presented for, right, yeah.
Okay. Motion made by Stan to approve everything in front of you. Is there a second?
All second.
Okay. Second by Brian Miller. Any discussion on it? They're still reading it?
Sorry, it's explanations.
Maybe we need some explanation.
Well, Anna's done a pretty good job of explaining each one there right after the parcel in bold print talks about, let's use the example of Michael Black, this parcel is no longer farm exempt, so that's why it's here.
This one's actually in the Cafe City.
In the city cafe, yes. But yet, like, ones that are like 4 years, so it's really hard to actually do a sales ratio, so we do the best we can with what we have.
Jenna, do these change the ups and downs at all?
They will.
Okay.
I'll resend it to you this
Okay.
afternoon.
All right, I figured it would, but want to make sure.
Yeah. I have it all ready to go, I just wanted it to be approved before I send it to you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, that's it for this year, and I'll be back on, what time are you gonna do the zoning stuff?
I think we will probably do that right after the procedural stuff at the beginning.
Okay,
So
I'll go
don't-
and print off what I need to and be back down then.
Don't go
I
too
got a
far.
quick question. I was told I was supposed to be here for a hearing at 8 o'clock. I was actually told to be over there. That wasn't corrected.
I didn't know it was supposed to be in here.
Yeah, but there's 5 days that the county knew that it was supposed to be here. And it was never corrected.
Word must get around, everybody's here.
I had to look it up. If you ask someone to be here for something at a certain time and you tell them the wrong building, and you know 5 days ahead of time that you can't have it there, you're supposed to contact that person. I shouldn't have to look for that information myself.
You
The
are
county contacted me to be here.
you are a follower of mine
Yes,
on the page, and
but-
I clearly stated that on the page. So,
This clearly states
yeah.
to be at the KTL Building. And it wasn't corrected.
Things do change, right?
You gotta be flexible to change this once in a while.
We would have preferred to be there, but they needed the.
Yeah, I understand
audio,
that.
video stuff.
But what I'm saying is when you send somebody something, that needs to be
All
corrected.
right. Well, sorry for the mix-up, but it is. Okay, is there anything else about the hearing part of it?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, Motion made to adjourn the equalization meeting, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Boone, any discussion? Any discussion, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
You will have to wait 5 minutes.
What's
The
that?
regular meeting's at 8:10 now, we gotta wait 5 minutes.
Really?
Well, that's what it said. That's what it said on the agenda.
Come on, work with me.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm usually better at that.
Okay, we'll wait till 10 after.
We'll talk down for 5 minutes.
That's pretty easy to do.
So they ever gonna get that overpass done down by Sterling? Is that gonna get done by fall?
How about the crap there by the east edge of Bismarck?
Oh, yeah.
You know what, I don't think that one's done until next year.
By Oasis there, they got the
Yeah.
outdoor park?
Marlins or Oasis or, yeah.
I haven't been there. That's why
What?
I haven't
I've
been
been working
down.
on it for 2 years. You ever go to Bismarck?
They've always been busy doing something.
No.
Yeah, they got that forward
It's-
section.
I drove through there yesterday, I had an infusion in Bismarck, and on my way home, holy smoke, and there's nobody working.
Really?
Well, it must have been, I don't know.
Must have
Well,
rained.
July weekend, I suppose.
Well, I don't know the reason, but
Could you imagine what the productivity of any factory is this year on Monday, after the 4th? Not very good.
The what?
Well, it's the 4th of July weekend, so Monday, can you imagine the productivity
No.
of the place? I called one place, there were 4 people out yesterday, Monday.
People take that.
That's wrong, well,
extra day.
one guy couldn't come because he had seizures over the weekend. By himself induced.
Yeah, bro.
But you know, that, as a manufacturer, that's got to be managed. At the butcher plants, you know, the 2 most productive days are the day before Thanksgiving and the day before Christmas.
Most productive.
They schedule way more that day because everybody's going 100% to get done when I get out of there. But, quite interesting. Maybe there's still a meeting, huh?
That construction stuff, though, it's just seems like, you don't see much happening, you know, it takes a long time.
Well, I sarcastically always said it's because it's not October yet, it freezes up really quick. Then they
The last 15 days when they were doing Highway 3 down there, the last week, they really all
yeah.
hindered down there.
Are they putting the new stuff on 52 this summer?
Here? No.
I don't think so. I thought
No.
the stuff that they fixed here, they were going
They were
to
supposed to one time when it got
Holden bragged about it, how he got this $20 million last fall, it was in all the papers, and in the meantime, something got pulled in the interim, because it's not getting done.
They've been fixing the spots on 52. So they cracked up.
Oh, that,
Yeah, but
That was a mess.
maintenance workers.
Oh, maybe they're on board end.
Boy, if they ever needed one, 52 is, especially from Carrington to Jamestown.
Carrington, Jamestown, you know, when they don't put passing lanes in there, maybe that's on the back burner, because if there's any spot that should be 4 lane, it would be from there to Carrington. Jamestown to Carrington, Buchanan.
They're really nice, the ones that are here, but there was needed also.
Oh, yeah. There's some of that traffic branches to 281 going north, so there's more traffic there than
Yeah.
from
Right.
Carrington on.
Right, yeah, the 52 is pretty dangerous place to get out of there. Especially on Vernon, it's horrible.
I drive a sprayer from there to Harvey, and I do it pretty often. I just put blinders on. But it is nice that there's wide shoulder.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Get your attention. That's a sign
Do
that,
do that one more, do it one more time.
Really?
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
God spoke.
Okay, I got 10 after, you got that?
Well, that was a sign, yeah.
The sign was to start. Okay, are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Do I have anything else?
Just at 9 o'clock, Annie called this morning and she will not be able to be here, so we will just bypass over the top of that. And then in the interest of time, after you finish up with the consent agenda, it's my recommendation that we deal with the planning and zoning stuff at that time, okay?
Okay. All right, let's, the regular June meeting minutes, everybody gone through those okay? Any questions on them? If not, I would accept a motion to accept those.
All motion to approve.
Brian Miller, motion to approve the June regular meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Stan. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Timesheets, anything?
Well, you got the set of minutes from June from the equalization.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Okay, is there a motion to approve the Board of Equalization of Wells County minutes?
So move.
Brian Lautt made a motion, is there a second? Second by Boone. Any discussion? Discussion, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, then timesheets down, anything out of the ordinary there?
They're sitting over there. I do not have the road departments, but the rest of them are there, so.
Yeah. You want to look at those over there?
Yeah, I do.
Bills. Where do you spend so much money?
Dan, you gotta quit spending money like this.
Yeah, it was a tough month there.
What the heck were you doing?
I'm not a sailor, but the rest of it might be true. No, it's, there's a number of them in there, and I'm gonna zip through just a couple of the big ones. If you have other questions, by all means, feel free to ask the question. Just about half the way down the front page, you're 59,000, that's up above your head, that's the roof.
Yeah.
Regular insurance stuff there, 17,253. Your dues to South Central, that 9685 right below that. NDTC, that 9766, about 2/3 of the way down the page, that is security cameras at the Festival Hall. Supposedly there's a grant for that, but we'll eventually get reimbursed for that. The 68,402, a little further down the way, is your down payment on your Festival Hall piece. Right above that, I guess 8138, that's the indirect payment back to Foster County.
Dan, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yep,
The fairground, what's the 68,000 for?
that's the window project.
Oh,
That's just.
yeah.
Festival Hall.
Flipping the page over on the back side of that, about 1/3 of the way down, you see a 15,304 to Guardian Fleet. That is the outfitting of that new patrol car.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Minus the trade-ins.
Plus the,
Yeah.
minus the trade-in too.
We
Yeah.
didn't get squat for that.
And that was only like $1,000. So, Under the House Bill 1066, you've got your engineering fees. That 79,000, of course, is the Hamburg Slough project area, and the one right below that is just cleanup from this bridge north of town that will happen next year. Let's see, nothing else really unusual on the rest of that page. And then flipping over to page 3, near the bottom of that is $304,000 back to the state of North Dakota. Every one of the 19 or 20 human service zones had an incorrect formula. So everybody had to send money back. And that
So the
was,
state had a windfall?
I guess. But, so that we had to return to them. And then over on the back side of the page, under the highway tax, that top one there, that 51,123, that's your culverts for that township over by Sykeston. And other than that, nothing that $700,000 wouldn't take care of this month. So. Do you have any other questions on there, whether I or Renee can answer them for you?
Is it setting a new trend?
Oh, some of them are, that's a once a month deal.
So when you look at that sheet that you have in your hands there, Brian, obviously none of that is on there. So you'll see the effects of this when you look at that sheet a month from now.
Okay.
Okay, so need a motion to accept the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Boone, second by Brian Lautt. Any discussion? Other than it being an expensive month, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, balance sheet, Dan, you want to explain?
All right, you have that there. It's a smaller page this month, so a little harder to read, but just a couple of things. First of all, starting with about the soil conservation district, which is right about in the middle of the page, all those balances there would have been paid out now. Okay, so those disappear as soon as you approve the bills, which you did. So those are all gone. Up above there, you still have 272 plus in your capital projects, and again, that is earmarked to be a grant match next year on that bridge on Highway 1 north of Fresno. Down a little bit, you still have the 1.873 million from 1066 money, which about half of that is allocated for that Hamburg Slough project area. General fund, 5.5 million listed there, and then you have your various road, get 911 first, and you know that's a negative number. It's always going to be a negative number going forward. There is just no way that that is going to come back into the black, so that will always be subsidized by general fund dollars. You've got your road, couple spots below that you've got your highway tax, and just above that you've got your, where is it at? Federal aid road, which is a no more thing. In fact, I'm going to respectfully request you transfer that $2,528.77 in August and just get rid of it because there'll never be any money going back into that unless we decide to go back to that, which isn't going to happen. Health district is another one of those that would have been paid out along with those ones down at the bottom, and then you've got that VSO fund, that $12,000, almost $13,000 there. We are not paying off that line, so that will just sit there until the end of the year, and then we will transfer that. That pays for, obviously, our veteran service officer and the various elements of her budget. Okay. Let's see here. County emergency and jail and transportation both sit a couple ticks under $400,000. Those are ones that we levy taxes for, but very, very minor amounts of taxes for. We'll talk about that when we get to the budget. So those are both in healthy position. County agent probably isn't going to come back into the black by itself, and it sits at a negative number. And then social services just got paid, even though we had to send just over $300,000 back. So that's technically, that's going to be $1.1 million after that check clears the bank. Okay? And that is meant to prop them up for the rest of this calendar year. So, do you have any questions?
Yeah, a couple of county, we got a county agent now again?
Yes, we do. Just hired her. So, and we'll probably bring her over here next month and introduce you to her.
And then the other thing, the Hamburg Road project, of course, I wasn't here last week, but I see you accepted a bid.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at that? That was better than what we expected. Right?
No, it was pretty much spot on this time. So, don't ask me to explain why they were so far off the other time.
Yeah, well, I guess that's.
We only had, what, 2 bids?
2 bids, and one was better by dang near 6 figures. So,
One was 100,000 higher, or 120,000 higher.
yeah.
That's what I was surprised. I didn't want to look at the original. Okay, any other questions? If not, need a motion to accept this.
All motion.
Ryan Miller, motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Boone. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next thing there is pledged securities, and I've got that in front of you. All 3 banks are listed there, and all 3 of them have resources that exceed our deposits there. Don't need a motion on that, but I need your consensus that all 3 of those banks cover our county's pledges.
So moved.
Don't need a motion.
Oh, okay.
That,
Just put it in the
by
minutes that
saying
we
that,
talked
you
about.
approve it. Looks good.
Okay, all right, and then as far as your investments that you see on the sheet there, a lot of black on that page. You got your top one is a CD at First International Bank and Trust that's in there for the better part of the next 10 months or so, $1 million there. You've got almost $500,000 at First State Bank. That actually renewed yesterday, and we did renew that for nearly an identical rate. It's right around that 4 1/4. DHB has a couple of CDs that we have. Both of those renew sometime in 2025. Between the 2 of them, it's just over $1.8 million. And then the money market account down below, which serves as our glorified savings account, if you will, that's interest bearing, has a little bit over $4 million in it. All told, you have $7.339 million wrapped up in various accounts that are interest bearing, and those are doing quite well for us. Do you have any questions on any of those?
Money market's, well, yeah, you got that. Money market's still 3.5%?
Yes, it has not changed since the day that we opened it, so hopefully that will stay about there. And so that is the one that we will occasionally pull funds from for the rest of this year, to whether it's payroll or to meet the costs of construction on the Hamburg Slough project or what have you. So
And those you can pull without penalty, right?
correct. You can make up to 6 transactions a month. So
Yeah.
flipping the page over to the funds controlled by the commission, and just like last month, that is a negative number. In other words, you could make an argument that we've over-invested, but the flexibility that we have with the $4 million in the money market makes that a moot point. But anyway, you can see the various funds there that you have your finger on. Current road department, that's always going to be a gauge there as long as that's a negative number. It's still too big, but it has gotten progressively better. And I'll talk a little bit later when we get into budgeting. We've got some dollars that'll start coming our way in the month of August that will certainly take care of a lot of costs associated. It won't buy you blades, it won't buy you fuel, it won't pay salaries and benefits, but it'll pay things like that culvert to the tune of 50 grand and things of that nature. Various construction costs, So it will be better, put it that way. So, do you have any questions for me about anything related to the financials of the county?
Make a motion that we authorize Dan and treasurer to manage the CDs and investments as authorized. Need a motion for that, right?
Yes.
Okay, motion accepted, is there a second? Second, Mr. Lautt. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
A couple of quick things with correspondence. That top one there is Garrison Diversion Matching Recreation Grant Program. That's sent out to the cities and park districts that exist in Wells County, so nothing for you because we don't have any of those things. The second one is just notification that the old Sykeston Rest Area, that property has been sold to Brad and Cindy Tweed, who live down in that area. The state originally had sent it to Wells County, and I said, well, what do I want this for? Oh, that's a mistake. They sold it to Brad and Cindy, but it had to be recorded, so that's why I included it in here. And then last is from North Dakota Water Resources, and that is where Stan got the golf clubs from, the maps from.
The $100 bill.
They're remapping the county to reflect flood risk more accurately, and this is really not my thing. This is a Tammy and a water board circumstance, but you need to be aware of it as well. They have a deadline coming up late this fall on that, so if you got questions about that, you're going to have to ask her. Okay?
You know, you mentioned the correspondence from Garrison Diversion. Have we heard any more about the canal thing?
No.
They offered it to Eddy County too, so that was in the paper.
Same deal, no specifics, just they like it.
I think basically what it said in the paper, so.
Well, Bill told me the other day that they have turned the McCluskey Canal over to them also, I guess, so. That's a possibility of water, I guess, so.
We could get it and then dam it up and not give them any.
Yeah.
See, there's all kinds of ideas.
There's that.
Well, all that water is coming out of the hills, they put that in.
Okay, where do you want to go from here?
I think we should pop down to item 10, Wells County Planning and Zoning. Jana is here, and so let's do that.
Okay.
You sure you don't want to hear the other ones first?
I was gonna say, do we want Steve and Paul
Yeah, maybe we should do that first.
thing before we?
I suppose their conversation is related to that, so.
I don't wanna tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So Stephen,
What's that?
you can sit over there if you'd like, or stand if you'd prefer.
If you guys are all right, I'll just stand here. That's fine.
Okay.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. My name is Steve Sprague. I have a home up in Friend Township. And I want to thank you for your service to the county. Being a county commissioner is kind of a thankless job sometimes. I also want to thank the Planning Commission who spent a lot of hours listening to a lot of testimony regarding the wind farm and updating the ordinance. And I know the proposed wind energy zoning ordinance has come to you a number of times after a lot of diligence and looking at it. And it's come with a recommendation of a 1 mile setback from a primary residence. The option of the variance to that setback provides the viability for Flickertail to proceed with their project. And it still gives protections to others in the community if there's any future developments. So the only thing that I'm asking today is that you vote to pass the ordinance as presented, and it's likely that there won't be a unanimous vote, but I don't see that any further discussion is going to resolve any differences. So if you would vote today to pass that ordinance, then the citizens we'll have a baseline, they'll know where they stand, and it'll allow everybody to move forward. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.